Listen here, I can't go another year. No, I can't be up in here complaining. Gotta let them know I'm famous in my heart. Listen here, I'm here for the world to hear. And I'ma make sure they know what my name is. I just wanna end up famous in
I'm
their
so serious,
heart.
probably why they be so damn curious, they furious. Easy got these ladies on some silly shit. Now what the dilly is, I'm going all out. Hey, I'm the talk of the town, why y'all just saw a mouth. Here's a story about my quest to be rich. I'm like Beyonce and Kelly on some Destiny shit. Mr. 6 Mile, look me up, I'm somewhat a dream. Got my city like an addict, guess it's somewhat a fiend. For my team, anything less is uncivilized. Surprise, I'm seeing this world through clear eyes. And haters only made me more inspired to bless. On the clock right now, what the hell is the next? Like that feeling in your chest when you're ready to leave. Like that memory you had, you just couldn't believe. And we always got a little ammunition for y'all, cause we remember when they wouldn't even listen at all.
Listen here, I can't go another year. No, I can't be up in here complaining. Gotta let them know I'm famous in my heart. Listen here, I'm here for the world to hear. And I'ma make sure they know my name is.
Wanna do something with me too. In 97 on Gunston and 6 Measy, the streets made a natural born hustler. Believe me, drop real with it. That was my first EP. Grind harder than granted, but made it look easy. Take it to the top, that was the plan. Now I'm known worldwide, from Detroit to Japan. 14 years span, fuck hot nigga, I'm scorching. I done got the fame, now I want the fortune. 6 albums deep, yes, I grind harder. But I known as Eno Brown, the D is my Carter. I've been hood rich from dropping bombs. Now I want white man rich stocks and bonds. Want my ice cream and cake on the golden plate.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another great episode of the Jackson Report. And this week, normally I start the show off and I have a tidbit or I have something that's happened and I want to talk about it. But this week, I want to start off giving flowers, I should say. Because I know we all gave them to her while she was still here, but I would say the past 2 months, it's kind of been like a real defining point in our family. Like so many things you can say when somebody leaves this world. And a lot of times people speak in the midst of grieving, people speak out of anger, people say things that any other time they wouldn't mean, but everybody hurt in different ways. So last week, I wasn't even able to get up here and sit back here and actually share thoughts with y'all because the way I was feeling. I got some news the day before about my baby cousin. Has been more like a niece. And it blew me because sometimes when a person older, you can kind of somewhat accept it, like maybe it was natural causes. But when somebody's so young, with a future so bright in front of them, when God chooses to punch that clock, a lot of times it's devastating. So for my family, as we walk through this experience together, it's time for family to be family again. It's time to reach out. Put differences to the side. Put the disagreements away. If you ain't talked in months, pick up the phone, call that person. Just to make sure they doing all right. We lost a beautiful young soul in our family. But she flying with the angels. She back with granny. She back with her granddaddy, her aunts, her uncles up there with her. And to my uncle, who I should say is more like my big brother, we all in this together. Because seeing that happen put a thought on my mind. Because I'm my dad's only child. And from a parental point of view, I remember having a conversation with my daddy one time about this, and he was like, no parent want to see their child leave this earth before them. So we all in this together. And not just today, not just tomorrow, not next week, next month, but for the years to come. You never know when it's your time for God to call you home. But while we still here, let's try to make a conscious effort to give each other our flowers more. Pick the phone up. Call your cousin. Pick the phone up, reach out to that aunt that you ain't spoke to. That uncle that you might not have heard from. Because life comes at us in real time. We not living a movie. It's not like we could press pause and be like, oh, I missed a part. Let's rewind it so we can see it again. This morning when I got up and I had all my topics lined up about what I wanted to speak on, first I was going to write some words, and I thought about it like, why would I have to write something about my own blood? Somebody I held as a baby, got on my nerves growing up, picking on me, coming in the room, talking junk. So last week when I took my day off and I decided not to stream, honestly, I wouldn't have been able to even sit up here and talk to y'all because my heart was broken. When you see somebody that you know and love have to leave this world so suddenly, it put your mind in a place. But I felt like it was only right, it was only fitting for me to come this week and start my whole show off showing that baby the love that we all gave her while she was here. But let's turn it into overdrive. Because now she get to go home. So let's not be selfish and be mourning and walking with our heads all down. Let's keep her memory going by strengthening all of the bonds in the family. And a lot of my viewers viewing this, even if y'all have differences amongst y'all family, now's the time to straighten it out. Now's the time to turn that page and move on to something different. Because you never know when it could be your last conversation with somebody. So to Mooney, we love you. You'll be dearly missed. But we can take solace in knowing that you're in a better place. You with your grandma, your granddaddy, you with your aunts and uncles. And most importantly, you with God. Oh man, Chuck, didn't think I was gonna be able to make it through that whole little spiel, Chuck, but
It was touching, man.
we did. We got it together. And it's kind of important that I hope people paying attention. And I really hope people is tuned in and adhering to that. Because I see a lot of people be at odds with their family. And most times it be over the most minute things that have you not speaking to somebody for years. And you could make that mistake of like, I need to call them, and then be too late. And I try to, like me personally, I try to live my life with no regrets at all, with none. Which brings me to a great point, because there's a few things I want to speak to y'all on. Outside of the family thing and reconnecting and making them bonds stronger, it's another little thing I want to speak to y'all on, because it was brought to my attention looking through my own paperwork that last year, every single American that fell within the qualifications received over $20,000 from the United States government. It was utterly amazing when I sat back and was reading through the paperwork, and I'm, damn, that's how much? That's how much we got? And then I saw the post. And the last line is just so fitting. COVID was the greatest heist in American history in more ways than one. So just imagine, we all sat at home. You didn't have to go outside. You didn't have to risk your life. Sat at home and all got a free $28,571. $26,000 if you let them take the taxes out of it. And it made me start thinking about it, like, we spend so much of our time looking all around that we never really pay attention to what's really going on right in front of us. So out of $28,000, or $26,000, I should say, that should have everybody sitting back thinking, what did I do with my $26,000?
I had a friend at the very end of college who, and this isn't $28,000, but he just, UT had so much money to give away to students that he just requested a new laptop. And he just got a new laptop with less than 2 weeks of the semester left.
Right.
And then he graduated and just kept the laptop.
Oh, now see?
So people are scamming the system however they can.
Exactly. And it's like, you had people, not only did people get 28,000, but you had people that scammed under a bunch of different names. So they got 28,000 at least 4 to 5 different times. So I say that to say that at this point in the pandemic, with it seemingly spiraling to an end, because the little vaccines done came out, and people is actually against their better judgment taking it, and it appeared to be working. What did you do with your free $26,000? Did you start a business? Did you take a bunch of trips? Or did you turn up every weekend going in the club buying bottles, and now you don't have too much to show for it? Did you invest in stocks? It just made me wonder when I saw that, because I sat back and wondered, like, dang, I had $26,000. Let me look around and see what the hell. Did I accomplish anything? Can I say I'm a little bit further ahead than I was before I got this $26,000? And before I started kicking myself about it, I started looking around at everything like, okay, I started a podcast. I started a clothing line. We got this going on. We got that going on. What's good with it? That's Danny, ain't it?
Yeah.
I knew it was Danny. You ma- you maxed out your Roth IRA and your 401k. I didn't tell nobody to go out, run out and ruin their future. What I'm trying to say is invest in something that's for you. Like, for instance, y'all see my thing scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Invest in the Jackson Report if you feel the need to. Hit the Cash App. $5, $2, $3. It's all going towards moving the show forward. But it did. When I saw that, and I was doing my own paperwork, trying to be a law-abiding citizen, an upstanding citizen, doing my numbers, I realized they gave us $28,000 damn dollars. And if you didn't make no memories, invest in anything, start something that's going to bring you more income. All my Detroiters, even Stretch said it take money to make money. The biggest thing that we don't grasp is making our money work for us as opposed to working for our money. Oh, yeah, compound interest, huh, Danny? But it is. A lot of us probably got that 26,000 and turned up, went to Miami, went all over the place. I mean, I'm guilty of some guilty pleasures during the whole span of it because I went to Vegas and went to North Carolina and Denver and San Antonio. And I mean, but at the end of the day, I did invest in a few things. Things that was going to bring residual income at the end of it all. So if you use that 26,000 and you sitting back now and you one of them people who can't wait till their taxes drop, you need to sit back and do some reevaluating because that means your money management skills ain't up to par. We all had the same amount. Well, some more than others. Especially if you had kids, they was lacing them stimmies that was coming through. And now with this new one that's coming, the people with kids gonna be they're gonna be in an even better position than they was. Yeah. Yeah. At least 20. At least 20. And that's just trying to slide your foot in the door if you saving 20% of your income. I'm trying to get to the 40% savings. But those conversations that a lot of us is unfamiliar with. In our communities, we don't sit and talk about money management and 20% this or 10% that and putting this to this or putting that to that. A lot of us don't even know how to invest the right way. But now it's starting to spill over. Now getting into the stocks is starting to be a new trend. So everybody jumping on board. And honestly, to me, that's a good thing because I'm hearing more and more people talking about Robinhood and Webull and Stash and all of that. But let me be the one to tell y'all, all them little sidebar apps, Stash, Robinhood, and all of that, I wouldn't dare trust no hundreds of my dollars in those apps. Go to brokerage firms. They're out here.
Something my dad always tells me, he's been pushing for me to do this for a while, is to open up a Charles Schwab account and start investing in an index fund.
Exactly. See what I'm saying, Chuck? But a lot of that education go over a lot of people's heads. That education, a lot of people don't have those conversations. And then they'll wonder why somebody who they thought was a nobody look up How you can afford to buy this and how can you afford to buy that? Because you get yourself around a group of people that's having these conversations about money and money management and what to invest in and how to make your money work for you. And you will see it start working for you. Like, I'm waiting to see my money start working for me because it's jogging a little bit, but it ain't. I needed to be at a full sprint, Chuck. I needed to be doing. See, Danny on here, hey y'all. If y'all watching the show, read the comments because my man Danny, all he do is numbers. All he do is numbers. He deal with numbers. He's a numbers guy. So he educating y'all in these comments. He really is. See, Danny, you need to call in to the show and get these people a little something that they can write down. Oh, see, now he coming with the corny anecdotes, talking about you gotta build wealth like Usher, nice and slow. Yeah. Forgive him, y'all. He's from Laredo. He doesn't. No, I'm just messing, Danny. You know, you my man's. Love you, boy. I'm just. Oh man, but no. Honestly, before I get all off track, laughing and joking back and forth with my peoples, all my Texans, I saw something in the news and it kind of had me a little tight. A couple things. Because I was down here with y'all when we went through this freeze. And even though being from Michigan, I was kind of used to it. The fact that it played out the way it played out for the people that's actually from Texas and had never experienced nothing like that. ERCOT, dirty. I mean, it's dirty because of the simple fact, that y'all the controllers of the power grid. So y'all solution to save energy and keep it from being a power surge was to do these rolling blackouts that caused the power grid to fuck up. And because of y'all mishap, now y'all want to overcharge y'all everyday paying consumers, which is so unfair to me. And when the attorney general decides to file a lawsuit against y'all, y'all refuse to show them the records because here's the catch, Texans. And this is what y'all need to be looking at when them new ballots come out and y'all get to vote on some stuff. This is what y'all need to be thinking about. Y'all power grid is ran by a privately owned company, which means they're right. They don't have to show their records because they're not a public company. But to me, that's fucked up. Because I've been hearing reports of people getting charged $16,000, $17,000 for a month's worth of utility usage. And that, to me, is like highway robbery. So y'all basically found a way to inconvenience the whole state and then charge them for being inconvenienced. If that ain't the biggest heist, yet everybody want the power grid for Texas to be privately owned, Texas owned, so they don't have to follow the federal regulations that's placed on all of the other power grids. And this is the result. I'm wondering how many Texans is at home now really thinking about their energy choice. Because it appears like ERCOT is the main company controlling it all. So basically, it's almost like they the puppet master. We gonna overcharge y'all. But a lot of people was getting overcharged because somebody was speaking. I was speaking with somebody and they told me a lot of people got hit over the head like that because they go with the cheapest thing, the flex plan, and it sound good at a time. But when you have a crisis, for all y'all on the flex plan, and it seemed good, you paying a little bit per month, just know this should be the example that when the power grid fucks up, y'all paying for it. Which is completely like insane to me. Like the more and more I keep thinking about this, it's like we had people down here that went without power nor water for the majority of that freeze week. And they're still dealing without power. Some people still dealing with no water. But yet when they get that next utility bill, and it's $17,000, $18,000 for a week. So it was said in the one article that I was reading about ERCOT, how Texas is going to allow them to overcharge these people. That apparently during that week freeze, they was paying $9 per kilowatt of energy usage, which, in all honesty, how I feel about the situation is this. If you chose that responsibility, be responsible for it. You chose to take on the task of running a power grid for possibly the largest state in the United States. So during the summer, I could just imagine the power usage with everybody cutting on their ACs. But then you have a deep freeze that everybody is saying is quote unquote unexpected. But technically speaking, you knew about it for a week and a half because unless we just don't listen to the weathermen down here in Texas. I understand it's Texas and the weather can be bipolar. They can predict a winter storm and it be 70 degrees outside. But you still got to be prepared. And the fact that they overcharging the people, it's like, where's the justice? Who do we boycott? Who do we protest towards to get a ruling like this changed? If they talking to the attorney general like, we ain't got to show you shit because we're privately owned. And then turn it around like, so what? Yeah, we could charge Mr. Earl over there $20,000 for that week. Oh, we gonna charge Susie over here $25,000. Exactly. Most times people fail to prepare. Exactly. Was that Chuck? That's
Jay.
Jay Hutt, for sure. I see you, cuz. A lot of times people do fail to prepare. And when they do it, and then they do exactly what they prepared to do, when they fail, they have every excuse in the world on why they failed. That's just like if I told somebody the job started at 8 o'clock. I'll be to get you at 7:15. All you have to do is be ready. I got you lunch. First day, I got you there and back. This job gonna pay you $25 an hour. And I pull up at 7:15, and you not even home. Then when I go to work and I see you 2 days later, now you asking me for a cigarette. You asking me, what's up? Buy a drink, all this stuff. No, I just put you in position. And you was unprepared when I got there. So you basically prepped yourself for complete failure. Hey, that's the heart of a true hustler. That's the heart of a true hustler. If you tell them, look, I got this plan for you. I'll be to pick you up, and you wake up in the morning and go to warm your car up, and they leaned against that mug. Like, I done shoveled the snow around the driveway and everything. We got to get there, bro. That's a person that really want it. That's a person that's preparing to win as opposed to preparing to fail. And I appreciate that little sidebar, Fatty. That was what's up. Of course, it say Jay Hutt on the screen, and I'm calling him Fatty. People know who he is, so it ain't hurting nothing. But yeah, that thing with the ERCOT situation, I've been seeing that too much, and I've been hearing too many people talking about it. A couple people I know got hit over the head is the reason why I'm adamant about it. Like, that's fucked up. Like, that's a messed up thing. Like, you just basically go tell us what we gonna pay, and we wasn't the ones who caused the power grid to fail. Exactly. Everybody play the blame game. Everybody play the blame game. But in the case with the ERCOT situation, there's nobody to turn and blame except for yourselves. Like, what gave y'all the bright idea that turning off a power grid during a deep freeze was going to make it crank back up? Or we just going to leave it off for 5 hours? When I literally watched rain hit my windshield and freeze up instantly, it was crazy. I'm like, dang, one of my blades on my windshield actually broke.
Really?
Because I had my windshield going and it was raining. And I sat there a couple minutes, tried to cut it back on, and it was froze to the windshield. I'm like, damn, I was only sitting here like 5 minutes. So for them to think that they was able to shut this grid off and leave it off for 6-7 hours, then crank it back up without a malfunction, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. And then I'm looking at it down here in Texas, starting next Wednesday, I do believe, the 10th.
That's tomorrow.
Actually, yeah, tomorrow, Wednesday. Dang, I'm thinking next week because I saw this started last week when he gave the press conference. Mm-hmm. But Abbott lifted the whole mandate. It's basically, he like, y'all, we back to normal. I don't give a damn who vaccinated, who not. Coronavirus everywhere. So what? Open everything up 100% and you don't have to wear a mask. But there's this other little figure down here. For some strange reason, for everything Abbott says, Adler says, So all my Austinites, it's getting enforced here. Keep them damn masks on, because they still enforcing it in Austin. They don't care in Austin. They like, yeah, Abbott said this, but we the city of Austin, this is how we feel about it. So be mindful of it when y'all running out the rainy street, running out the 6th Street, ready to turn up. Like, I ain't got to wear no mask after the day. Oh, it's still in force. You can't get pissed off when you done got there and y'all rushing thinking, yeah, we finna make it before happy hour in. And, oh, we can leave the mask at home. It's lifted. And you get there and they tell you can't get in that mug because they still enforcing it. I figured with them lifting the mask mandate, I say, oh, man, Austin finna become crazy. Everybody gonna want to come here because it's basically normal here again. But somebody on the council in Atlas said, not so fast. We still enforcing it in Austin. So if you want to do all that, you better go to Houston or Dallas if you want to open up and party like that, if they open like that.
I think it's probably mostly going to be small towns.
Yeah.
That don't care. Yeah,
because they didn't care. Like, dude, when I went to Colorado, they didn't care even in the middle of this mug. Because when I went to Colorado, like, last May, it was people walking around like normal. And I'm like, damn, look at this. That's crazy. Like, people walking around and the stores was crowded. I went to some small town on my way to Colorado, and I'm like, I walked in, I was the only one with a mask on. Everybody was looking at me like, knew I was not from there. Like, oh yeah, look at this weirdo, still got a mask on. But in the small areas is where the numbers was spiking at in Texas, other than, of course, the bigger towns, other than the bigger cities like Houston and San Antonio, because there's more population there. So people more likely to be in crowds just on a daily basis. Like here, we had to be careful because this, regardless of what, even when it was shut down and it was stay in the house orders, it was still crowds everywhere. Just with the everyday hustle and bustle of Austin, just like people shopping and doing all of that kind of stuff. So it was always a crowd. So you had to have your mask on. And I've been asking people, like, because I was doing Lyft the past weekend, and I was asking people, like, how they felt about it. And a lot of people were still saying, like, I'm still wearing my mask. And I was finding out a lot of them was vaccinated. Like, I'm still wearing my mask. Me, myself, I was like, this crazy. If that's the case, there's going to be very few places I can go because if the whole city walking around without masks on, I don't know. You never know, dude. Like, you never know. Just like we never know if this virus still here, if it's coming to an end, because it seemed like it always carries over into allergy season down here. Then allergy season rolls into flu season. So we'll never know. Like, this one can go on for 3-4 years before they finally get tired of it and say, enough is enough. Okay, everybody vaccinated. It's not really doing nothing to people. Because the CDC just announced that everybody that's vaccinated can gather in crowds now.
Really?
Yeah. I seen it like the CDC, like, if you got a vaccine, if you done got vaccinated, sure, it's all right to go back to the barbecues. It's okay to congregate with your folks again. But out here, if you vaccinated, you can still carry the virus. So if you vaccinated and I ain't got vaccinated yet, you can still give it to me. But if the CDC clearing vaccinated people to all gather, must mean somebody at the top done got tired of this whole situation. Like, okay, let's get it over with now. Like, it's time to get it. It's time to get it over with. Let's get the country back to rolling, because I can't.
I'm seeing. CDC says vaccinated and unvaccinated people can gather together with people from one other household.
Oh, wow. See.
So I guess they're still pretty strict about it.
Yeah. See.
Indoor maskless and non-distance gatherings are okay as long as individuals have been fully vaccinated for at least 2 weeks.
See.
Okay.
See. So yeah. So now, if you got the shot, you can get back with your folks. Don't feel bad. Everybody wondering if I took the shot. For the sake of people, because I was one of the ones that was saying, I don't want an arm growing out my back or no hand coming out the side of my neck. So I was kind of on the fence about this vaccination thing. But the responsible son in me, I should say, the fact that both of my parents are immunocompromised, I went ahead and did it. I ain't grew an arm out my back yet. Just was a little groggy, but after a good nap, it was cool. So I could gather with somebody. Like,
How did you get your vaccine? Did you just go to
me?
Where'd you go? Yeah.
No, I went to a doctor, sir.
Okay.
I got good insurance, sir.
Nice.
I got good insurance.
But
Plus,
you don't have to be a healthcare worker.
It all depends. I've been hearing so many different stories. I seen it. It came through on my email. I thought it was a fluke or some stuff. So I did it. I hit the thing like, yeah, I'd like to be. And I ain't think nothing of it. And I got a call like, hey, do you got a prescribed physician? And I'm like, sort of, kind of, sort of. But yeah, he sent me to one. I took the first dose like some weeks ago, and I took the last dose maybe a week and a half ago.
Yeah, I know a guy who said that he got on a list for a vaccination just because he knew someone. Like it's
like that.
It's like who you know.
Yeah, that and Lyft. Like now my company, I believe, is encouraging it. So it's like, as much as I talked about it, I'm the type of person that I'm not just one track. Like I'm not partial. Like I'm just not biased. So my thing is, if something makes more sense to me than my first initial thought, I could be convinced to change my mind. If what you talking about, it's just like I have my standpoints on certain things. But if I meet somebody and they have a different standpoint than me, and we speaking on it, and you say something, and it's like, dang, that makes sense. I ain't think of it that way. I can change my point of view. So when it came to the whole vaccine, I was I'm like, no, they ain't tested it. Oh no. They keep talking all of this different stuff. They keep talking all of that. But the responsible person in me thought about everybody else. Thought about when I go to Colorado, my mom's, my pops, my sister, my brother down there, my nieces and nephews. So I wouldn't want to be the one to walk through the door, get everybody sick, and I go home. I'm not even knowing I'm straight. Everybody down there all sick in the mug. And I find out. And it's like, yeah, it happened after you pulled off. A couple days later, we all started coughing again. That would devastate me. Like, so the responsible person in me did it. I just ain't speak on it to nobody. I ain't broadcast it because my thing was, what if somebody asked me like, well, how did you slide to the front of the line? Because I had been getting stuff from Lyft. Lyft been sending me notifications to do it. All kind of things in my inbox. So I just one day clicked on it. Like, let me see. Clicked on it. And at first I was going to go and be nosy and just ask them so I can get in depth. But then when I thought about it, like, yeah, we kind of all been living not so much in fear, but we've been living on alert for the past year. Like, this person started coughing and sneezing around me. So, I mean, you get sick of that. At a certain point, you get tired of it. Plus, with the fact of the public service that I do, I just wanted to be kind of, I wanted to be safe. Better safe than sorry.
What's interesting is that Dr. Escott is quoted in this article as being like the top doctor in Austin.
Right.
And he's pretty much telling you the rules. He's saying if an individual enters a business without a face covering and they refuse to comply or leave, they could be arrested for trespassing. They cannot be arrested solely for not wearing a mask.
Oh,
but it just seems like weird to me that a doctor is telling us what is and isn't legal.
Right. So basically, he like that is crazy because you a doctor, so you like, look, now they can't arrest you for not wearing a mask. So they go to loophole, Austinites. There it go. It won't be because you didn't have a mask on. When you like, hey, you can't be cuffing me for not having a mask. Yes, I can, because now you're considered trespassing if they're enforcing the mask law. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, I'm glad you pointed that out because that's tricky because a lot of people, I said a lot of people gonna get into it with these club owners and bouncers at doors because they gonna feel like I ain't gotta wear a mask. The governor said I don't have to wear a mask. Oh, but we're enforcing it here. You can't tell me this. So a lot of the bouncers, all right, let you in, and then when you getting carted out or escorted out by the boys in blue with them bracelets on your wrist, you'll know why. Because they just called and said you was trespassing because you don't have a mask on. And that's a fucked up loophole, though. That kind of really is. That's messed up. In a way, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Because in a way, it's kind of like, yeah, cool for the people who really want the mask still. But in another way, it's like, damn, I'm following the law. Really, technically, I'm not breaking the law because the law says I don't have to wear this mask. I wonder, that's going to get tricky down the line, Chuck. I think that's going to get real tricky down the line.
Yeah, because before, you couldn't really get mad at the business owner because it was law. And then when Abbott lifted it, it's much easier to get mad at the business owner. But at least in Austin, they're able to fall back and say that the city is still enforcing this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's true. Having a mask on don't even stop you from getting the coronavirus. And it's crazy because a lot of people feel like I can have it over my mouth. Have my nose out so I can breathe. You still can get it that way. You still can get it. And now they saying if you don't double mask up, the one mask ain't working. So it's like we going through all of these different changes. We've been going through dramatic changes since the beginning of this whole pandemic. See, I've been calling it everything but a pandemic. I done called it a panoramic. I done called it Pandora's box. It's done been everything but the pandemic.
Yeah, whenever I hear people still refer to it as a lockdown,
yeah,
I always take it with a grain of salt because
it's not a lockdown.
We haven't been in lockdown truly since maximum like June.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
People see it all the time. It's like, yeah, since I've been in lockdown the last year, like I've been able to do this. It's
like you wasn't locked up though, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I see, man, I've been hearing people say that so much too. Like, oh man, I can't wait till this quarantine over. And I'm like, what have you been doing with your time then? To the quarantine over, it's like you better handle your business and go about your day to day. It's just called being safe. I said it at the beginning of this month. I said it at the beginning of the whole pandemic. It took a disaster to come through the country and get us to do what should be a normal. Wash your damn hands. Don't cover your damn mouth when you're coughing and sneezing. It took a deadly disease to get a bunch of grown people to be hygienically correct. That's crazy. Like,
and I remember at the beginning, there was emphasis on washing your hands,
right,
and don't touch your face,
right,
much more than what it is today. But masks was always included in that, but they
right.
kind of phased out washing your hands and not touching your face, and they made it all about masks.
Exactly. They just mask. Though, if you noticed it, everything been slowly but surely phasing out of it. We've been going from one extreme to the next. First is make sure your hands is washed. Don't touch your ears, your nose, none of that. Now it's make sure you have a mask on. Make sure you have a mask on. Make sure you have a mask on. Damn, your hands made me dirty when you adjusting your mask. That all left. Went out the window.
Which is just as important.
Exactly. Like, if your hand's not clean, it defeats the whole purpose because you walk in places, you touching countertops, you touching door handles, you doing all of this stuff. Then it's, oh shit, my mask. Let me adjust my mask. You just gave it to your damn self. Like, so it's like, with me, it was like, okay, what are the provisions? What is we really supposed to be doing? And that's ultimately what brought me to the point of just like, yeah, let me be safe. Let me go ahead. Better to be safe than sorry. And that's probably like a shocker for a lot of people because a lot of people probably was thinking like, yeah, he ain't with it. Because I was a stickler. I'm not doing that shit. Well, I did that shit. And for the sake, I would say, for the sake of me, but no, honestly, I felt like I was a tough cookie and I was going to tough it out. But thinking about my parents and thinking about how often I may just wake up and be like, oh, I'm off this weekend. Let me drive and go see my parents. It's only 13 and a half hours. I didn't want to walk in the door and be like, man, okay, Pop's coughing. Damn, he got it. It would be the week after I left. I would feel like crushed. I know you ain't taking it, cuz don't let me be no influence on anybody. Oh wow. Jesus blood. I'm not trying to convince anybody. And like every show now, I've been having this whole section, this Am I With It? And some weeks it'll be funny, but the Am I With It, because I've been seeing this too much in the news, and I have been following it myself because I was curious after seeing how that man got injured last year. The Cowboys gave Dak, they finally gave Dak his coins, like my cousin was saying on the one episode. Like they finally gave him his coins. 4 years, $160 million. They just invested into Dak Prescott. And my question I asked myself when I first saw that, because it was the first thing I saw when I walked into work this morning. I got off the elevator, and like at my job, when you get off the elevators, it's this big TV screen. It's either always playing Longhorns games or something to do with Texas. But this morning it was on ESPN, and that was the first thing I saw walking off the elevator. Like, Cowboys and Dak agree to 4 years, $160 million. I'm like, wow, really? I'm like, they gave him $160 million for 4 years. That means $40 million a year this man is about to make. And that's probably before incentives. And he got a no-tag clause in the contract.
What does that mean?
Basically, a no-tag clause is like this. If after the contract is over with, he wants to be a free agent, he could be a free agent and they can't franchise tag him. Because what a franchise could do is like put the franchise tag on it, meaning like you the one player that they want to finish building their team around, pretty much. So they be like, oh, we gonna franchise tag him at $20,000. And the signing bonus. Oh wow. Danny, my thing with the whole am I with it part was I honestly feel like that was way too much money to invest in somebody with that severe of an injury. I said it to my cousin when I said it. To me, that is way too much money. That's way too much money to invest when you don't know how that leg gonna hold up coming back. I just think, to me, am I with that? Hell no, I'm not with that. Because if I'm gonna invest that kind of money, he better be just coming out the starting blocks. I'm not gonna invest that kind of money in a player that had that kind of injury, for one. But for two, I'm not going to put that much money into a quarterback that hasn't won me a Super Bowl. I mean, they may feel like he could take them to the Super Bowl. Maybe the Cowboys feel like Dak can take them to the promised land. But I'm not too sure of that. Like, and I'm a football guy. Like, everybody said Matt Stafford wasn't the truth. Matt Stafford was a heck of a quarterback to me. Why? To me, honestly, I think, dare I say it, he became a better quarterback after Calvin Johnson because he didn't have a security blanket no more. And that's the truth. That's the truth. No quarterback can do it by themselves. They need to put talent around them. And when they was putting the talent around Matt Stafford, it was just coaching decisions. And he said Matthew was a bum. I know you didn't like Matt Stafford, Fatty, but he was a cool quarterback to me. And then Danny, he said Jerry Jones bought that man a bionic leg. We'll see. It's just the fact when I saw that $160 million for 4 years, like, dang, they giving that boy that much money per year, and they don't even know if that ankle gonna hold up. Like, you don't even know. He could get hurt.
Check it out. $66 million signing bonus.
Damn.
Biggest signing bonus ever.
That is crazy.
There's some more details about it.
He gonna have $9 million base salary, fully guaranteed.
So $75 million by the end of the 2021 season.
Damn.
Also, that's a record 1-year payout.
That's crazy. $20 million in Dallas. So $95 million guaranteed at signing. They did Jerry Jones basically just got money to give away. Yeah, Peyton Manning had neck surgeries, but Peyton Manning had a whole team around him and a defense. Heck no. Yeah, his Cash App, yeah. That thing is this. Here's my thing with that. If I was a team owner, I couldn't do that. I'm not finna give no unproven player that much money, especially after an injury. Man, everybody saw that injury. It looked like his foot was ripped off. I couldn't do that. No knock to Dak. He's a good quarterback. He just ain't worth that much damn money like that after an injury like that. So am I with that? Hell no. And before I get off the air today, I have to reiterate this to my family. Y'all, let's squash all the differences. Let's put all the disagreements to the side. Put all the no talking and this click over here and that click over there. It's time for family to be family again. Whether we like it or not, because God is showing his hand. And he's showing us that tomorrow is not promised. So I'm going to end my show leaving y'all with this tidbit. When you show up, however the other person is, whatever that other person's treatment towards you is, that's a reflection on them. You show up and be the best you. And that way you won't live with no regrets. If you know you done gave your everything and your all, that's when you can walk away from something. But none of us has given our everything and our all towards family bonds. Everybody be quick to throw their hands up. Oh, I'm done with that. I wash my hands of it. But it's something that was said to me a long time ago. You can pick who every one of your friends is, but you can't choose your family. Your family was already chosen for you before you got here. And with that, and on that note, I bid y'all adieu. I thank y'all for tuning in as usual. Hopefully y'all learned something. Hopefully y'all humbled yourselves and y'all will catch this message. To my Texans, hopefully we'll all figure out a way to boycott ERCOT. It's been another episode of the Jackson Report. Appreciate y'all watching. Hit that Cash App scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Good night, y'all.